welcome back to my channel. Another video. What? Is she for real? If you're wondering who is that, my name is Emma Jean. If you're new, welcome to the party, to the channel. I have a new radiology or x-ray tech student video for you, so go ahead and stay tuned. Hi, I'm so glad. I literally just came back from clinic. I know I'm still in my scrubs, but I thought I would just film this video because this was an idea that came across me because I actually did this during one of my rotations, and it's called IPL. I might be saying it wrong, but it is interpersonal lab. And what we did was, it was a group of different medical professional students, so in different groups, right? I came from x-ray tech. There were a couple that are nursing students. There is one that, or two of them actually, that are going to be doctors, and one was a dental hygienist. And you're probably like, what are you even talking about? So when I first went over this, it's mandatory for us to do it. We do it just once over this semester of this fall, and we get together, we go over certain scenarios, we go over different cases, and I really liked it because we all put in our own input about certain things. Say it was about a pediatric patient and they talked about symptoms such as having red gums and vomiting of coffee grounds and a broken elbow. Super random, right? But those are different things that different professions would probably know about. As for me, because I am going to school for it, I would probably know more information about the broken elbow. Nurses would probably more know about the coffee grinds, like why they would throw that up, you know, and I learned that it was due to internal bleeding of the gastrointestinal. So cool. And the bleeding of the gums, I'm thinking, oh, maybe nurses know that too, but they actually didn't know that. And the dental hygienist student was saying something about like the medication that causes it to do that. Just amazing. What am I getting to with all of these random points? At the end, or I would say more towards the end of our lab, we did this thing where we shared a myth about our profession, and I immediately got super excited and said that I actually have two things to share. And when I said that, the director of the whole rotation lab was very excited because she's a dental hygienist. And of course, you know, she's very well known in her profession, but she is open to know about the other professions, even though she has worked with so many other students during these types of activities. And that's what I want to share with you. So these are two different myths that I shared and that I would love to share with you too. Regardless if you're a student or not, or if you are in the x-ray or radiology field, you may know this, but if maybe you're becoming a student or you are a student like me, this is something that you will learn and might be just mind-blowing to maybe if you're just in a different profession still in the medical field. The first one that I shared with is everyone thinks that an x-ray tech just stays pretty much on the floor in the ED or the emergency department, which is not true. You might also see it in movies. They portray them as you're just taking the patient back to the room. You take a perfect x-ray. The patient is walkie-talkie. They do the x-ray, 2 seconds, they're out of there. Reality, that is not always the case. We actually do way more than that. So if the patient can't be walkie-talkie, they can't get up, if they're in the hospital, they don't feel well and they're dizzy or they have to be in a wheelchair, could take them to the wheelchair in the room. Or if they stay in the bed, what we do is we carry a x-ray portable. When I found this out in class as a student and seeing a portable in real life, oh my gosh, I kid you not, I was so excited. I'm like, this is going to be a cool profession. And yes, it's basically an x-ray machine that is on wheels. You push around everywhere. There is a con to that. Like pro, yes, you can, it's portable, right? But a con to that is you have to be able to maneuver that machine in a way that portrays as if you were x-raying the patient in the x-ray department, if that makes sense. Say you want to position for a chest x-ray. Some x-ray techs might want to make it parallel with the patient or with their bed. So that way, the way that it can swing can go out and around so it can be straight onto them. Say if you're doing the abdomen though, you do want to get lower onto them, lower onto their body rather than being too up. So what you actually want to do with the portable machine is bring it all the way around either one side or the other side of them so that the top of the machine can then be moved over and the patient can lie flat. Another thing that a lot of people I feel like don't know about x-ray techs is we go to the OR, which is also known as the operating room. Yes, we do scrub in. We wear the light colored scrubs and put on our caps. And it depends if some techs put the scrubs over their scrubs. If I know that it's a quick procedure, I like to just put it on top of my scrubs. But if I know I'm going to be there for a while, I just take off my scrubs and change into the OR ones. You're probably thinking, oh, so you just do x-rays and OR. Yes, but the thing is we use a different type of machine. Remember when I talked about the portable machine? Portable machine, that's its own thing. That's for emergency department. When it comes to OR, sometimes we may use that, but they want to use a different one because of the type of bed that they use, and the patient is not able to position themselves, or we're not able to position them because they're sterile. We can't touch them. So what happens is we use a machine called a C-arm. A C-arm is going to look way different than a portable because of the way that it's made is the ability for it to go over a bed without having to really touch the patient. And to keep it sterile, it does need to be covered by like a bag of some sort. And usually the surge techs are the ones to cover that for us. In some cases as well, we do use a OArm machine, which looks like a C-arm, but it's way bigger, way more radiation that is used. It's not very common that we do use it. I've only really used it once, and I don't even want to say use because it was more of the surgeon being the one to help us with it and to use that machine. Another thing that we do is called fluoro or fluoroscopy. You're like, what the heck is that? It's another way to say live x-rays, and you're like, what? So these are the type of exams that's usually like esophagram or an upper GI. We also do barium enema, which is another thing. People are like, what, don't nurses do that? No, that is an exam that we do. And you're like, why do you do those exams? It's because those exams have contrast in it, and what contrast does is when the patient drinks it, or if it goes up their rectum, or if it goes through their colostomy bag, then that contrast helps to better highlight the region that we're looking at, so that then we can take these x-rays in a combination of both or just separately of live x-rays, which is called fluoro. And fluoro is kind of, how do you put it, like a video-like type of x-ray, so that when the radiologist is able to look through them, they're able to scroll through and see a continuous fluid of pictures or motion of pictures. Cool, right? Okay, so second myth is that we dangerously get large amounts of radiation, which is not true. I want to first say that all x-ray techs, everyone in the radiology department, and I believe that even dental hygienists, when they do their x-rays for their patient's mouth, we wear dosimeters. What is a dosimeter? So this is what this is. There's so many different kinds, but this is the one that I wear. To make it short, what this does is it tracks the radiation that I am around, and it's important to have it at that collar region, right? No, nothing lower. And when you do exposures of x-rays, we want to make sure we face it so that it will then capture the amount of radiation that we do take. I'm saying this because what happens is, again, people think we take a dangerous amount of radiation due to our work, due to us being around it all the time. But what we learn in school is that when you do take an exposure of x-ray is to stay at least 6 feet and you're good to go. And that's the reason why when you see x-ray techs maybe going around in the hospital and we yell out x-ray, is that we're warning other people that we're taking an x-ray so they have that time to step away. The reason why we also have to step away too is because we're around it so much. That's often a question that patients ask. If it's safe, then why are you stepping away? Well, it's because we're around it all the time. So of course we need to step away because we are around it all the time. As for you, we're taking it for you to figure out what the diagnosis is so that we can better care for you. There was something that I also read or learned or heard about, so whichever the three that it was, and it's that if a patient takes, say, a chest x-ray, that is actually the same amount of radiation of a range from 6 to 11 days that a person gets regularly on a day-to-day basis, which is crazy, right? If you think about it, we're pretty much getting radiation every single day. Yep. Every day, whether we're on a plane, whether we're like sitting in your room or sleeping, we're all getting radiated. We all are. We all are definitely getting a small amount of radiation. It just, if we're taking some x-rays for you, you're getting a little bit more. And it's not like you will be taking them every day of your life. It's usually done because we just want to see if everything's good with you. And if it's for routine, that's still such a small amount of radiation. When it comes to fluoro, the live x-rays, you might think, okay, well, isn't that more radiation? Same thing with OR, since we have the C-arm, has more radiation, right? In that case, that is when you see us wear lead, and we still put this on the outside of our lead so that it checks. And those who are pregnant, x-ray techs who are pregnant, am I pregnant? They would still have the dosimeter up here, and they would have a separate one down at the waist you guessed it, for the little baby, so that they can then track how much radiation that the baby is getting, because the dosimeter is at the waist area. All right, well, that's it. If you liked this information, let me know. I definitely would have never known this information before going to school for being an x-ray tech. If you have any myths with your profession, doesn't have to be medical field, share it down below. I would love to hear it. If you liked the myths that I shared and like have any questions, because I did briefly just touch each topic, also let me know. I thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.